हेलो एवरीवन, माय नेम इज़ डॉक्टर शाहीन अहमद। वेलकम टू द केमिस्ट्री क्लासेस। मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल पर आप सबका स्वागत है। वीडियो देखने के बाद चैनल को लाइक करिए, सब्सक्राइब करिए सो दैट वेन एवर आई पोस्ट एनी वीडियो यू गेट द नोटिफिकेशन। टुडे आई एम गोइंग टू टीच क्लास 12 केमिस्ट्री चैप्टर सॉल्यूशन, टॉपिक राउल्ट्स लॉ। सो लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज राउल्ट्स लॉ। So dear students, we are going to study about the Raoult's law. But before starting the Raoult's law, we will study some important points. Afterwards, we will try to understand what is Raoult's law. Suppose I take a system in which I take a volatile liquid, and the system is closed from the upper side. If this liquid is volatile, definitely it will convert into the vapors. When it will convert the vapors, then these vapors will be collected on the upper side of this container. This is the volatile liquid and these are the vapors of that volatile liquid. For your kind of information, volatile liquids are those liquids which convert into the vapors. So this is also a volatile liquid that also convert into the vapors. Now once the vapors are formed in this container, these vapors, they exert a pressure on the inner side of the system. When it exerts a pressure on the inner side of the system, then this pressure is called P naught A. And P naught A means vapor pressure of the pure solvent. At this time, whatever the pressure is exerted by these vapors, that we say as P naught A, vapor pressure of the pure solvent A. Now what we have to do, we add a non-volatile solute in this. Non-volatile solute like urea, like sugar, glucose. When we add these non-volatile solute into this solvent, what happens about the vapor pressure of the pure solvent? Now if I ask you, can you tell me the answer of this question and can you think properly that when we add a non-volatile solute into this solvent, what will happen about the vapor pressure of the pure solvent, whether it increases or decreases or remains same? So whatever you think, keep in your mind, but I am going to explain you. Actually, when a non-volatile solute is added in this, then these particles of the non-volatile solute that remain dissolved in the solvent, as well as some of the particles they remain of the surface of the liquid. Since the liquid is volatile, now also it will convert into the vapors, but when the particles of the solute they are on the surface of the liquid, these particles they do not allow these liquid molecules to come up in the form of vapors, and these particles of solute which are on the surface of the liquid, that create a hindrance, and that is why the sufficient number of water molecules they do not come up in the form of vapors. That is why the vapor pressure of this liquid in the solution that decreases. So remember, whenever we make a solution of a volatile solvent and a non-volatile solute, the vapor pressure of the solution that decreases. Now at this time, when a non-volatile solute is added in this, at this time the pressure which is exerted on the upper part of the system, do we say P naught A? No, because when we add a non-volatile solute, at this time it is not equal to P naught A, because at this time it is not the vapor pressure of pure solvent. So what do we say this? We say this PA. And what is PA? That is called partial vapor pressure of the component A. A means solvent. In the whole chapter, A we take as solvent and B take as solute. So this will be called as solvent and this will be called as solute. So PA, that will be called as partial vapor pressure of the component A, PA. And this PA, we can make it equal to PS. Either we say this PA or we say this PS, that has the same meaning, because at this time whatever the contribution of the vapors are there on the upper part of the system, that is only due to the component A. And now if I ask you what is the vapor pressure of the solution, then also the same thing, because at this time the pressure which is exerted here, that is the vapor pressure of the solution, because there is no contribution of a non-volatile solute in the vapors. So PA or PS, they have the same meaning. So if in any numerical it is needed to calculate the PA, and that is called partial vapor pressure of the component A, then how do we calculate? Then there is a formula, and that formula is told by a scientist, Raoults, and he said that partial vapor pressure of the component we can calculate by multiplying the vapor pressure of that component in the pure form multiplied by its mole fraction, and that is XA. So this formula is defined and told by the scientist Raoult's law. In this P naught A, that is the vapor pressure of the pure solvent, that always remain fixed and that is assumed to be constant. And if it is assumed to be constant, then PA can be directly proportional to the XA. And we can say this partial vapor pressure of the component A is directly proportional to the mole fraction of that component. So this is the Raoult's law. Either you define by this way or you define by this way, they have the same meaning. So how do we define this? Partial vapor pressure of the component A is directly proportional to the mole fraction of that component, or partial vapor pressure is equal to the product of the vapor pressure of that component when it is present in the pure form and multiply by mole fraction of that component. So this is brief idea about the Raoult's law. This case which we have studied, that we say as case 1, and in this case 1, the solvent which we have taken, that is volatile, and the solute which we have taken, that is non-volatile. Solvent we taken as A and the solute we taken as B. Now we will study the second case. This is the case 1 and now we study case 2. Now what happens in the case 2? Again we take a system, this type of system, closed system, and again we take the solvent, that is A. And in this solvent A, I write here solvent A, and that is volatile. But instead of using a non-volatile solute, I take another component, I take as solute, it means B, and that will be also volatile. Now I have taken a solution. In this we have taken the two components, component A and component B, and both are volatile. So first I have taken the component A mixed with the component B, and both are mixed to each other and we form a solution. Since both are volatile, so A converts into the vapors as well as B also, that converts into the vapors. Now you tell me, in the total pressure, total vapor pressure which is exerted on the upper side of this, whatever the pressure is exerted by the component A, do we say is P naught A? No. Because this whole vapor pressure which is exerted here, that will be sum of the partial pressure of the component A and component B. We cannot say this P naught A because we have not taken the component A in the pure form. We have taken in the solution form, and both the components, they are volatile. Component A and component B both are volatile. A converts into the vapors as well as B also convert into the vapors, and the vapor pressures which are present here, they contribute the vapors of the component A and B both. ऐसे में जो total vapor pressure होगा, that is PT, that will be equal to the sum of the partial pressure of the component A and component B. So if any numerical is given and is in the solution, the total vapor pressure is asked, then easily we can calculate just by adding the partial vapor pressure of the component A and component B. If the PA and PB are given directly in the question, so far so good. But if it is not given directly, then we use the formula as according to the Raoult's law. What Raoult's law says, that is PA is equal to P naught A into XA, and PB, that will be equal to P naught B into XB. It means the total vapor pressure PT, that will be equal to P naught A into XA plus P naught B into XB. So this is the partial vapor pressure of the component A, and this is the partial vapor pressure of the component B. So like this, we can calculate the total vapor pressure of such type of solution in which the component A and component B both are volatile. Now one time more we are reminding this case 1. Actually in this solution in which the solvent is volatile and the solute is non-volatile, if I say to you, ये जो solution है इसका जो total vapor pressure है, what do we say that? We say as PS, and that will be equal to PA because there is no contribution of the vapors of the component B because B is not volatile. Here is the only contribution of the component A. Component B is not there. So whatever is the pressure is there, that will be equal to PA, and that will be equal to P naught A into XA. But one important thing which I want to tell you, this PS we can make it equal to PT also. PT means total vapor pressure. So in this case, case 1, when the solvent is volatile and the solute is non-volatile, either we say this PT or we say this PS or we say this PA, they have the same meaning, but these are equal to P naught A XA. So one formula for this, when the solute and solvent is volatile and solute is non-volatile, and this is the case when the A is volatile and the solute B is also volatile. When both are volatile, then PT is equal to P naught A XA plus P naught B XB. When one component is volatile and one component is non-volatile, then PT equal to PS equal to PA, that will be equal to P naught A XA. Now we will try to understand the Raoult's law with the help of a graph, and that is called graphical representation of Raoult's law. See, in this graph, one side we are taking the vapor pressure and the other side we are taking mole fraction. At this point we are taking the component A in the pure form, and this point we are taking the component B in the pure form. So when the component A is taken in the pure form, the pressure which will be exerted by the component A, that will be called as P naught A, and B is also we have taken in the pure form. One thing I want to remind you, the component A and component B both are volatile in this case. So component A, since it is volatile, the pressure which will be exerted by the component A, that will be called as P naught A. Component B is also volatile, so the vapor pressure which will be exerted by the component B, that will be called as P naught B. One component may be in the lesser amount, another component may be in the larger amount. Now see, at this point when we are taking the component A, So as you know what the Raoult law says, Raoult law says the partial vapor pressure of the component A that will be directly proportional to the mole fraction. So one thing this you know very well. Second thing, the sum of the mole fraction of all the component in a solution that is equal to 1, which already I have described you in my first session. So since I have taken the component A in the pure form, here component B is not there. It means the XA plus component B is 0, that is equal to 1. It means at this point the XA that will be equal to 1 and the XB that will be equal to 0. Now what happens here, the B we have taken in the pure form, and since the B we have taken in the pure form, again you see XA plus XB that is equal to 1. Here XA is not there because we have taken the component B in the pure form. So at this point component A is not there, so the mole fraction of the component A is taken as 0. Then what happens, plus XB equal to 1. It means the XB equal to 1. So at this point the XB equal to 1 and the XA that will be equal to 0. It means at this point the component in, when we take the component A in the pure form, so XA is equal to 1 and XB is equal to 0. Component B when we are taking in the pure form, so XB equal to 1 and the XA is equal to 0. Here it is a pure form, this component A is exerting the vapor pressure that will be equal to P naught A, and component B exerting a pressure in the pure form that is equal to P naught B. Now what happens? As we move from this side to this side, because this is a solution, and solution we are studying a solution by mixing the component A and B. When we mix the component A and B from here to here, the sum of the mole fraction of the component A and B at every point that will be equal to 1. It means as we move from here to here, the mole fraction of the component A that will continuously decreases, but the mole fraction of the component B that will continuously increases. X is equal to 1, slowly decreases, finally reaches to X is equal to 0. Here XB is equal to 0, but as we move from this side to this side, it reaches to the maximum value XB equal to 1. So one thing is clear to you, on moving from this side to this side, mole fraction of the component A decreases, mole fraction of the component B increases. Now, since the mole fraction and the partial pressure of the component that is directly proportional to each other. So as we move from this side to this side, since the mole fraction of A decreases, so their partial pressure also decreases. Only at this point it is equal to P naught A, but as we move little ahead from here, it will be the mix up of the mole fraction of the component A and component B. When we move from here to here, then slowly the mole fraction of the component A that decreases and mole fraction of the component B increases. So here at the maximum value, but as we move from here to here, mole fraction of A decreases, so the partial pressure also decreases. Only at this point it is equal to P naught A, but just when we move ahead from here, then it is equal to PA, and then PA will be equal to P naught A into XA. Now see at this point, that is P naught B. Here B we are taking in the pure form, and whatever the pressure it is exerting, that will be equal to P naught B. But when we move from this side to this side, so see, if the mole fraction of the component B from this side to this side, what is happening? Increasing. So if the same component B, if we study from this side to this side, the mole fraction of the component B decreases, and since the mole fraction decreases, the partial pressure also decreases, because both are directly proportional to each other. So at this point only P naught B, but as we move ahead from here and we are moving toward this side, the partial vapor pressure of the component B that also decreases. Why decreases? Because from this side to this side, the mole fraction of the component B also decreases. So I am drawing another graph. At this point P naught B, but as we move ahead, it will be equal to PV, and PV is equal to P naught B into XB. So this is the graph for the component B and this is the graph for the component A. And when we are mixing together A and B, then the total vapor pressure which will be exerted in the container, that will be equal to sum of the partial pressure of the component A and component B. It means the PT, that will be equal to PA plus PB. So this is the overall graphical representation of Raoult's law, and this very clearly defined that how the partial pressure of the component that is directly proportional to the mole fraction. So one main point of this graphical representation is this: as the mole fraction of the component A or B decreases in the solution, the partial pressure of that component that also decreases.